The first cake I made in this Rayburn was in 1981 when we got married and moved into this house. And over the years, I must have made coming on for 50 cakes. I used to give ones as presents, the christening cakes. Quite a few cakes been done in this old Rayburn. And it's never let me down yet. I'm going to line this tin. This is a 9-inch square old tin. We greaseproof paper, 2 layers in the bottom and 2 layers around the sides. You mark diagonal slits like this so that it sits neatly to the bottom of the tin. On the Rayburn I've got melted margarine. I brushed the melted margarine along the sides of the tin. Then I fit the greaseproof paper now I grease the bottom of the tin and then put in the square bit. I cut it earlier, grease that layer, and then I put in the last layer. Now I line the outside of the tin with a couple of layers of thick, heavy brown paper. This is all to protect the outside of the cake from burning too much. When I decide to make my Christmas cake, it usually depends on the weather, because if it's too windy outside then the Rayburn will be too low. So it has to kind of be a nice calm day. This green cherries, I've not been able to get this for years, but I managed to find this multicoloured cherries in a scoop. And when I go to put this into the cake, I'm dusting me a pretty bit of flour. It's supposed to stop them from sinking. I like the texture of dates in a cake. This is just my own adaptations over the years. So I'm now going to measure out all the fruit and I'm going to steep it in brandy overnight. Start with 2 pounds of currants, but I like to substitute about 4 ounces of currants with some apricots and some pineapple. £12 of raisins, and then we've got 12 ounces of sultanas. £4 ounces of peel, but I like to make about 2 ounces of peel and make it up with 2 ounces of dates. 4 ounces of chopped glazed cherries. And then we've got 4 ounces of blanched almonds chopped up. So now I'm going to grate in the rind of 2 oranges and 2 lemons. And now we steep this in 6 tablespoons of brandy. I like to put an extra tablespoon in for the bowl. Give it a pretty mix up and I cover that in cling film. So that's the fruit steeping overnight in brandy, and tomorrow night we'll make the cake. Okay, in here I've got a pound of plain flour, except I like to substitute a couple of ounces of the flour with ground almonds. Into this I add half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoonful of mixed spice, I'm always a pretty bit generous, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and I always like to use half a teaspoon of grated nutmeg. And this gives a far more powerful flavour than the ground nutmeg. You get a lovely smell with this. That's lovely. And this I sieve into the bowl. So I'm going to weigh out a pound of butter, and into the butter I add a pound of dark soft brown sugar. That gets creamed together till it's really light and fluffy. Life's too short, this is a far better way to do it. Today it's been slightly windy, so my ray button was a bit too low for my cake, so I've had to turn it up. And here I'm warming the treacle that's going to go into it as well. Another thing I do is I put a double layer of heavy brown pepper on the oven shelf in the ray button and set the cake tin on top of that as well. And it just bakes it really gently. I now need to beat up 8 eggs, and I am lucky enough to have my own hens. So that's 8 eggs, and I whisk them up. They're lovely, rich yolks in them. So now start to add the eggs slowly. See, and you mix it in bit by bit. You start adding in a spoonful of the flour mixture. That prevents the curdling. Treacle. Plenty of treacle. And then my own secret ingredient is some vanilla bean paste. It always gives a nice flavour to everything. Now this mixture is ready for the fruit, soaked overnight in brandy. I also like to kind of warm the cake tin on top of the ray button. Okay, so that's all ready now for tucking over here and putting in the cake mixture. Now we start packing it down into all the corners. Another little thing I like to do is I like to kind of just settle the mixture down into the tins. So now it's ready to go into the ray button. And it'll cook away for about 5.5 hours. The ray button is actually an excellent way of making rich fruit cakes because it's a gentler way of cooking it rather than the electric or the gas. It's slightly cracked in the top. Stick a skewer in, you see if it comes out sticky. Yep, that cake's ready. We'll leave the cake to cool in the pepper overnight and we'll come back to it in the morning. I'm turning out the cake on a cooling rack. Now we carefully remove all this grease-proof pepper. Lovely smell coming for the cake now. Now what we do every week is we skewer the cake and we feed it with brandy. So now I wrap the cake up in grease-proof pepper and then a sheet of tin foil and fold it all around, store it in a warm dry place and open it up once a week from now to Christmas and feed it with some more brandy. It makes the cake richer. Well, it's a week before Christmas now, so the time has come to ice the Christmas cake. Now, we never get through a cake this size anymore, so what I usually do is keep half for Wes and the 2 other smaller cakes. I give them away as Christmas presents. I roll out the marzipan on a board that's lightly dusted nice and sugar. Here in a pan I have warmed apricot jam. Apricot is the traditional jam that's used to be marzipan for a fruit cake. Now, in years gone by, I used to cover my cakes with royal icing, and I used to do a lot of complicated piping. Nowadays, I find it far easier to work with fondant icing and have a more simpler design. It's just more modern. If you are decorating your cake with fruit and nuts, then it's a good idea to glaze it with a mixture of brandy and apricot jam, and that'll preserve it over Christmas and it gives it a bonny glaze.